I think one of our most greatest accomplishments for the past year is that we were able to successfully reduce parking for the students.
Time in a long time, the Parking and Transportation Advisory Committee has a student,
Right.
and not just any student, a student that's an active member of the Student Government Association. So,
Right.
I mean, Tim, we definitely commend you for all your contributions this year. And I know as SGA officials, we do a lot that individuals may not necessarily see. I mean, not in the tangible sense, so they're like, okay, well, what are they doing? But this is our time, that we're
Right.
dedicating towards the student body. And
To allow students the opportunity to be a part of the university as far as having a place to park, contributing to bringing money so that they're able to pay for things that are associated with parking. It makes the university a lot pleasing for the community because we're no longer on their
Right.
lawns and yards and messing up their
parking
areas. So,
tickets.
and this was a very major thing for us to undertake, and the university have been dealing with this issue for a long time.
Things like that people don't realize that student government impacts, like the Parking Act. Even like when we did the Fair Wages Act, we allowed for where they was going to try to take our wages to $8.25. We kept it at 10 because we're students. We need to have fair wages, and we don't need to be paid at minimum wage. So things like that in the parking are things that we do as student government that really impact the students, which I don't think they pretty much know.
Most definitely, and I definitely think that a lot of the external enrichment that we did this year was extremely useful
Right. Yes.
to the officials.
That's right.
I mean, giving them the opportunity to go to the American Student Government Association was really big to me because naturally you don't know how good of a student government association
So you
you
compare
are
That's
until
right.
you
That's
compare
right.
yourself
That's
to
right.
other student government associations.
We represented this university at its best.
Here.
If they had
Most definitely.
to make a decision based off of what was presented through the Student Government Association, I would say that this was one of the top best universities in the country because
Right.
we did put that front that we're legitimate. We are here because we mean business. We have things to do. There are students back at home who need us, so we're here to get training. We're getting that training, and we are representing well for our university. Listen, everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
It did. And I think our days in New Orleans at our planning retreat, when we all just sat there and we knew that we had a charge and we had a burden,
Oh, yeah.
it was our
Right.
duties to
And
ensure that we were
took that
providing
serious.
effective representation to the students. I mean, they understood clear and it was defined to the Student Government Association officials what it is that we are to
Yeah.
do upon arrival
That's
back to Texas Southern University. So taking them out of that natural environment and bringing them to New Orleans, and that was kind of like the commencement of the administration. They were like,
Start.
man, they're serious because once we as executive officials let that message permeate down to the senators, they were like, what? Like, do we really have to?
Oh, yeah.
You do. So, I mean, I guess that laying out that mutual foundation, letting them know, hey, we expect something from you guys as you expect something from
That's
us
right.
as executive leaders.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
I'm just so happy that we set that tone and that they're so progressive and they're so ready for what's next. And I have no qualms about walking away, as a president of this administration, knowing that it's in good hands.
It can get a little hard to walk away from all that goodness. Part of being SGA,
As they say, the privileged.
Yeah, right.
As Mr. Ed Davis likes to call it. And speaking of, you're the only person that's been here longer than me, so
Hey.
I don't feel as old. But let me ask you this: when I walked into SGA in '05, and you walked in '04, did you ever think that we would get the students to the point to where they are now? Did you think we would get the student body with the progression that we've made? We've established a tremendous relationship with the administration, President Rutley, Vice President Saunders, Vice President McShane, and Provost Tahir, and all those others who have played a tremendous role in what it is that we've done. Did you ever think that we would be sitting here today being able to speak of these accomplishments and major impacts that we've had? I certainly didn't. So, did you see this beforehand or?
I didn't see that. I didn't have any expectation. Well, first let me say that all of the positive progress that happened, I knew that was going to take place because we are some hard-hitting people. We're not lightweight people at all.
Most definitely.
But as far as being able to, look back and I thought this is something that would have happened a long time ago. Like I would have been working and came back for a reunion and told, I was this and I was that. But it's gratifying that I'm able to see the fruits of our labors now. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
As the young buck in the administration,
Gotta have a young buck.
That's why.
as the young one, I mean, I've learned a lot from Tim and you, James, as well as Kira. I've just learned a lot and learned how to lead. And that's one of the things I want to carry over. And we've seen how they've done it. They laid the groundwork. Now we just got to carry it on. And me being able to be behind the scenes and watching you guys every step of the way, it's been tremendous. And I've had fun with all the memories and all the relationships we built. And it's sad to see you guys go, but I know you left it in good
You're not
hands.
sad.
Don't
try to fool me.
Sam Cook said change is going on.
Say how grateful I am to be a part of an administration, which is my administration. However, individuals say it's the dentist administration, but it's really not. It's all of our administration, and that's my branch heads. It's been nothing but a privilege to serve with you all. I mean, we as an administration have been able to influence the culture here at Texas Southern University and set the standard for those to come after us. And honestly, after these elections, and I saw the 3 tickets developing, and I'm like, that's us. Like, that's exactly what we did. But it's on a grand scale, and then the tactics and things that they were utilizing. And I couldn't really get upset because I'm like, that's exactly what we did.
That's the
and
process.
that's exactly how we secured, our positions in office. And we did our due diligence. And Tim, as my attorney general, I mean, you've always been a beacon of light for me. You're that individual I could just go in there and just sit and talk to for hours and hours and hours and complain. And we'll get into it. And next thing you know, we have to be sitting in a meeting together, But we'd have to be on the same side at the end of the day. And to Brandon, President-elect, I'm just so happy to have you, come into office and to serve the student body. And I have no qualms that you will make sure that you are providing effective representation to the students here at TSU. Chief Justice, the longest serving member of the Student Government Association.
As far as we know.
As far as our records.
That's good enough.
I am happy to have served with you, and every time, I say, well, James, they said this or they said that, and you always, reaffirm and let me know I did what it is that I was supposed to do as a president, regardless of how individuals may have, processed that. Amongst themselves, and even in, happier times, we've always been able to come together and we've created, a bit of a family dynamic here. And so I'm happy to have been the president of this wonderful administration and to have served in such a revered organization. Individuals know the difference, they hear the difference, and they see the difference when it comes to the Student Government Association. And at all times, we mean business, and by no means have we let the students down in any way, form, or fashion.
I agree.
We came into office, we did everything that we said we would do, and we're moving on, and we're creating opportunities for those that are to come after us. And it's been a privilege to serve.
Group hug.